over that. Minister Farrakhan giving us a few words about Ezekiel and his prophecies. Now we're going to get into this next clip. This brother here put together an incredible video a few years back, but he's going to talk about this image that allegedly the Hubble took a picture of. Now, I'm not a big fan of NASA. A lot of you know that. They've done their fair share to mislead, put out a lot of fake information. I don't get into a lot of the flat earth, globe earth arguments because I'm trying to make sure we stay focused on our salvation and not arguing about the shape of the earth. Because on that dreadful day of judgment, knowing the shape of the earth, is it going to help you make it or don't make it? So we got to stay focused, Israel. I will say this, that yes, the physical plane is more of a flat shape, but it does create a torus energy field. So if you're viewing the earth plane with the wider spectrum of light, it's actually going to look more like a globe shape. So it all depends on perspective and the amount of that we know it all with our limited knowledge and our limited scope of vision. We only see a very small sliver of the spectrum of light. And we're very limited in our knowledge too. So we got to get away from that we know it all about this earth plane or the greater heavens and the earth. We don't know it all. We know very little because of our limited amount of knowledge and the capability. We've been dumbed down generation after generation. So we need to stay humble as we're searching for more knowledge and wisdom always. I'll just leave it at that. So this brother here found this image that the Hubble took a few years back, and he's sharing it with you. Now, I do think that there is some authenticity to this image because you can look at negative forms and other forms of this image. So it does seem authentic in that manner. But once again, anything that NASA gives us, we always have to view it with our spiritual eye and not believe everything that agency says. That agency is riddled with deception and chaos and lies. So let's just keep that in mind always. But this is a very interesting photo, and I think it's significant. Let's get into it, Israel.
Take a look at some peculiar but relevant end-time prophecies found in the book of Luke, chapter 21, verse 11. And it reads, "And great earthquakes shall be in diverse places, and famines, and pestilence, and fearful sights, and great signs shall there be from heaven." Well, the picture that I found on the Hubble telescope, if it's not a great sign from heaven, I don't know what is. The picture that I will show you, please note, is so large that it covers the span of galaxies. It covers the span of time. This picture, the first time I saw this picture is exactly how I'm presenting it to you. I noticed in the right-hand corner, the lower right-hand corner, a face of a black man. And I say that because if you look at the picture, you can see that it has Negroid features to it. And it appears that he's peeking from behind a cloud. So when I went looking on the Hubble site for this picture, not knowing the name of it, where it came from, I found that they had thousands of pictures that Hubble had taken. And I've looked at many pictures, more pictures than I can count of Hubble pictures until I found this picture. And when I researched the history of this picture, which we'll go over in a little bit, it kind of surprised me because in researching this picture, Hubble just doesn't take the picture. It takes the picture in different formats like infrared, chroma key, and they want to see it in different formats. And I'm going to show you the different formats that were taken of this picture. And so that you know that this is not just, for lack of better words, the correct.
See, there you go. That looks like that might be a negative format or the chroma key format. So there's different formats of this picture that I don't think would be consistent if this was CGI or some fake image.
Lighting of the stars, so this picture accidentally happened. You can see that this picture was staged, be it by accident that of some magnitude that we don't understand, but this did not just happen. It is not just a lining of the stars. Okay, do me a favor. Pause this video on the picture. I'm going to make a frame and enlarge a frame for you. Pause it and look at the detail in this picture.
So here's what he's saying in case you can't see it. Looks like this is the chin down here. These are the lips. Here's the nose. You got a nostril here. You got eyes. You got the forehead. And the head kind of goes back here. This almost looks like it could be a little baby up here, but I'm not going to say that. I mean, that's kind of reaching there. But this face here definitely looks like a Negroid featured face right here. And here's the neck. That's what he's talking about.
And for those of you who say, oh man, that's not real. Right, it's not real, okay? It's a manifestation of something, okay? And whoever created it made it to look as real as possible. And that's the point I'm trying to make, is that the detail in this is astounding. So, it's not something that, you know, I could come to any conclusion saying that it's an accident, because it doesn't look like a cartoon. It has more resemblance to a photograph. To better understand what you're looking at, have a name from what I understand. It has a number which is NGC 602 N90. And from the statistics, it says that it is 196 light years away. Okay? It is 180 light years wide and estimated to be 190 light years tall. I mean, we're talking time and space. So, you know, there's something, we just praise the Most High that, that we're even able to witness this. So, now that you've had an opportunity to look at this photograph of this just just mind-boggling galaxy. I call it a multi-dimensional picture. And we have to ask ourselves, then, what's the big deal? What's the point of all this? Ken, what are you trying to tell us? I'm showing you the biblical signs that are happening in our time. Our patriarchs would have given their lifeblood to be where we are right now.
That's a very important point that the brother just made, that in this time, right here and right now, it's a very special time. And all of you guys who are gathered at this time, all of the other people who are gathered at this time to teach the truth of the Most High, Yahweh, we have a critical job to do. We are the only all-star team that matters at this time. We got a lot of our people still engaged in the Esau's world of madness and folly, and they don't have a clue of what's going on at this time. So we are Yahweh's all-star team that he's gathered to help wake up the lost sheep of Israel. And we are the only all-star team that matters at this time. All of us, Israel. We need to take this job very seriously, because a lot of our people have no idea what is going on at this time.
In time, verses in Scripture that make reference to signs in heaven and on the earth. But there is one that I've run into, one particular verse that is found, it's a prophecy found in the book of Daniel. And it's Daniel 6:27, and it reads, He delivereth and rescueth, and he worketh signs and wonders in heaven and in earth. This verse explains that these signs in heaven are his sign that he is coming to rescue and deliver his people. And if there's anyone that needs to be delivered, even from ourselves, and for those of you that don't understand, who have not heard or not learned in regards to the truth about the Scriptures, the God of Israel is a black man. And the powers to be, the worldly powers, have been keeping this secret from you. This is the best kept secret of all time. But as the Bible prophesied, we are awakening to the fact of who we are. But those of you who have not reconciled that and have not come to that understanding, please know that your time is running out. Your time is running out.
Thank you for that, brother. Appreciate it. Of course, I'll leave a link to his channel down below. You want to check out the complete video. I just posted a little part of it. But what the brother was saying is, yes, we are a special people, and a lot of our people have no idea who we are at this time. It's critical that we get that information to our people. And we are not all the same people here on this earth plane. That's one of the games Esau wants to play, is to try to trick humanity to say that we are all the same. No, we are not all the same. And that's why the Most High, Yahweh, will always try to keep us separate from everybody else. Because he knew that if we started mixing with enemy nation people, that they would want us to go follow other gods, or not follow a god at all. Just be an atheist, go do heathenist things. That's why he tried his damnedest to keep us from following the ways of the other nations. They're actually here to test us. But we also don't want to fall into the trap to think that everybody who looks like us, meaning people of color, dark-skinned people, are our people. No, that is not true. Just because they look like us does not mean they are our people. And they can lead us off a cliff just like anybody else can. And just because somebody might have paler or white skin, that doesn't necessarily mean that they are not our people also. We come in all shapes, sizes, and colors here today. Back in the biblical days, it was much more clear and easier to know who was who. But today, it's not always the case. We have some of these brothers out there teaching, talking about you have to test the spirit. That's not always a foolproof method either, Israel. You can test the spirit all you want. But all the brothers out there teaching on the street, talking about test the spirit, well, they don't even want to follow the first commandment. And they want to put something else with Yahweh. They're doing what Yahweh asked us not to do. If you can't get past the first commandment, how are you going to test somebody's spirit? And who is testing your spirit? That's the question. Because if your spirit was on point, you wouldn't be stumbling on the first and second commandment. You wouldn't be putting anything else with Yahweh. You wouldn't be mentioning anything else with our Father, Yahweh. He doesn't need anything mentioned with him. He does it alone, and he's always done it alone. He's been our Redeemer and our Savior alone in the past, and he's going to be our Savior and Redeemer in the future. So test the spirit doesn't always work, does it? So we just have to cling to Yahweh and ask Yahweh for understanding. I'll say one more point on this quickly. If you guys mentioned, I stopped talking about the 12 tribes chart. And one of the reasons I stopped talking about it is because I went into some meditations and I asked Yahweh for clarification. And sometimes when the Spirit comes back and puts something on you, puts information on you, we have to understand, Israel, that the Spirit will communicate to us in many different ways. He won't always give you an image. Supposed to. It's late in the game. We got to get this figured out, Israel. And I know a lot of people are getting it figured out, and they're noticing it different in their life once you start honoring the Most High the way you're supposed to. You can also a coded message, because he's saying that we are the greatest people on this earth plane, but we don't know it. So a lot of times we're just sitting around being lazy, not knowing who and what we are. That was what his dig was about. Our ignorance, being destroyed for lack of knowledge. So he got his little dig in to show that we are destroyed from lack of knowledge. But let me read that again. It tells me black people are superior. Most technology, cars, medicine, etc., Mercedes, Ferrari, etc., are invented by our black masters. And they can sit longer in the sun to drink beer too. E.T. series, that we invent almost everything, and that the technology is stolen from us and then backward engineered, and then they slip their patent on the technology and pretend that they did it. He's coming out and telling you. And then some people in the comment section further down, they didn't believe Rudolph when he said this. They thought he was joking and being sarcastic. Because that's how the enemy nations think. They think we're just some stupid black folk sitting around eating watermelon and chicken all the time, and we don't know a damn thing and don't do a damn thing. That's their mindset of us. Because a lot of us, put that in their psyche because we have got lazy. We haven't tried to figure out who and what we are and what we're supposed to do here on the earth plane. So you can see why they think that about us. But oh no, we are very advanced. And the reason why we are so advanced is because we have a connection to the Most High, Yahweh. That's where all that inspiration comes through, is our connection to the Most High, Yahweh. He's the one who can download all this information into us and show us how things work. Because we're just a mere reflection of the cosmos. The way the human body works, it works just like the cosmos, and everything else works. So we have all this knowledge in us. That's one of the greatest secrets that is kept from us, is how great we are. And I'm not saying that to be conceited. That's just how things are. Even Rudolph called us our black masters. This Aryan dude from Germany called us our black masters. He came out and told the truth. Now, I listened to Rudolph for a while, and in the earlier days of his channel, he used to tell a lot more truth. Now he's got his little subscriber base, and he's giving you maybe 30% truth and 70% into that. But I thought that was an interesting observation by Dr. Claudia Alvarez. She actually got fired from her university job because she was teaching too much truth. But you can see with 1/3 of the sun gone in that one shot, I can kind of see where she's coming from now. But I won't say that I'll stand by that 100%. It's just an interesting observation.
Prophesied 2,000 years ago. Let me show you the pictures that amaze the scientists of the world. The second event that I want to bring to your attention is a music festival called the Pink Pop. It's a Dutch music festival that happens every year. This year, or a few months ago, a particular band by the name Metallica.
Okay, Israel, real quick here. I want you to keep this in mind when you're thinking about concerts, sporting events, stadiums, what have you. Anytime you have a mass gathering of people, you have a mass energy harvesting that's going on. Now, I won't say this about this event, but stadiums, movie theaters, anytime you have large people gathering, these places are built on specific places on the earth plane to harvest the energy and the emotion of the people, especially sports stadiums. They're planned out meticulously on specific ley lines to harvest the emotional energy of humans. And so all this energy gets harvested, and this is a manifestation of just this energy right here. Of course, you got demons working too, but this is to show you how powerful we are. We're electromagnetic in nature, and we have a lot of energy to us, especially us Israelites, but everybody does. And that energy is then harvested by, these dark forces, these people wanting to do evil and diabolical things with our energy, and we don't even know it. That's why I say we're very ignorant how things really work. We just think you're going to a concert to enjoy, some music, have a good time. But they're thinking, 5 or 6 other levels ahead of you. They're thinking how they're going to manifest this energy, how they're going to harvest this energy, and then use this energy against the very people who are at this concert and on other places around the earth plane. Because they don't have to just use it here. They can take it and use it anywhere they want. But that's why I say we're very ignorant at how things really work, because we live in these little bubbles and we don't try to understand more about this world we live in. But it's time that we do understand these type of things, Israel. Look at this thing. Yeah, this thing manifested from all these people's energy here. It could have came from energy too in other places, but they wanted to do something. Some type of ritual was underway right here, and that's what you see manifesting.
Who embraces satanic worship and uses satanic lyrics in their songs happened to be playing, and a face manifested in the clouds above the stage, which shocked the fans. Now, fortunately, people were there and took pictures of this face in the clouds, and this is one of the pictures. I want to share with you an interesting interview that was done by an organization called Camelot. They interviewed a gentleman who had above top secret security clearance.
No, I'm not going to show this interview that I already showed before. I'm not going to show this interview that I already previously showed, but he's going to give some new information in this little clip right here from Project Camelot and Kerry Cassidy. Pay attention to what this gentleman says, because I didn't even know that he had top clearance above the president before also. That's something new. This guy's got a lot of clearance. That gives him even more credibility.
Who worked for the government space agencies like JPL, NASA, and so forth. And he worked in an administrative position where he ran the different departments. Now, I've just shown you how they have made our black astronauts irrelevant and have taken them out of our day-to-day conversation in regards to great people. But I want to show you now that they know that this gentleman who has security clearance, which is above top secret, which means that he has a security clearance above the president, knows that there are black humanoid space aliens out there that have landed here.
When you say things are getting critical, are you talking about something to do with the vehicles that are in the rings of Saturn?
Yes, yeah.
Really?
Yeah. So I was behind closed doors for some time, and my clearance was way above top secret.
So can you tell us, are you able to tell us your title when you were working in this sort of division behind three doors?
So shall be left of them, and shall enjoy her Sabbaths while she lieth desolate without them. And they shall accept of the punishment of their iniquity, even because they despised my judgments, and because their soul abhorred my statutes. And yet, for all that, when they be in the land of their enemies, I will not cast them away, neither will I abhor them to destroy them utterly, and to break my covenant with them.
To figure this out, let's keep reaching back and helping our people. Grab a hand and pull somebody up. Don't be selfish. We got to keep helping our people. Now in this next segment, we're going to change the page a little bit. And we're going to talk about what went on in Afghanistan after the troops went into Afghanistan and raided Afghanistan for a lot of reasons we know were fictitious also. But we want to keep this video on point. This is about Israel. It's about our salvation. And it's about us understanding what's going on around us. So these troops went in and they discovered something in a cave. And they weren't supposed to remove this technology. But you see, Esau, he doesn't have a lot of respect for the Most High. He mocks the Most High a lot of times. And from the gist of this, it sounds like they were warned not to mess with this technology. It wasn't supposed to be moved. But Esau, he does what he wants a lot of times, and he had to suffer the consequences. But let's get into the story. We'll let these guys tell the story, and I'll kind of chime in. I think there's a lot of deception going on the way the story is unfolding, so I'll share my thoughts, and you guys can share your thoughts. Let me know what you guys think about this story. Let's get into it.
Ancient flying machine reportedly were discovered in a cave in Afghanistan and retrieved in 2012. And the news was immediately hushed. The hushed report of the find did attract the attention of world leaders, including Barack Obama. The Viman, a flying machine often described in Sanskrit texts, was discovered by a group of 8 US soldiers on a mission in the desert of Afghanistan. The 5,000-year-old machine is believed to be protected by an energy barrier, preventing the troops from removing it from the cave. US military scientists were deployed to Afghanistan to investigate the disappearance of the 8 American soldiers who were later found asleep after a hard day, and to get more information in what is causing the Viman to be entrapped in what some are calling a time well in the cave.
So basically they're saying a time well kind of can be like a portal, some type of energy portal that could lead to other places. And they're also saying that 8 military soldiers disappeared. And then what one lady said is that they were taking a nap and they were found later. That's Esau, madness and folly, trying to make a cover story. Doesn't sound plausible. But let's carry on. Let's see what these other folks have to say about this incident. Once again, they're trying to say that this technology came from India. I'm not so positive about that, but we'll see. Now this could be real footage of the incident, or it could be a dramatization. It could be somebody, who reconstructed the events. I'm not sure about that. But again, you guys can give me your opinion and let me know what you think. Now, as you can see, these attacks, you don't really hear anything. These aren't kinetic weapons. You don't hear bombs or explosions. These are very silent and very advanced weapons that are being used here. And really, that's one of the main purposes to show you guys this, is what we have been told is a very small sliver of the truth. There's very advanced technology. The Most High and his chariots and his angels have a technology that's been around for thousands and thousands of years, way before, even the biblical times. This technology has been around. And Esau wants us to think that all the technology comes from him and that we have cutting-edge products based off his technology. That could be furthest from the truth. There's technology that's way more even probably advanced than this. They wanted this attack to be seen. They could have probably did it in a way where there was no flashes and no plasma beams and just, destroyed everything. The Most High has a plethora of different ways that he'll carry out an attack based on his objectives. And so this objective was to do the silent type attack using these plasma weapons to get this point across. If he says don't mess with something in a cave that you shouldn't be messing with, don't do it. This should also go as motivation for us, Israel, the entire nation of Israel. The Most High Yahweh is not playing. You see these weapons he has at his disposal. You see what he has done in the past. He has no problem wiping out large numbers of people to get his point across, especially when we're going off and not doing what he's asked us to do, especially when we want to worship false idols and not give him all the praise and glory. All the praise and glory should go to Yahweh all the time, because he's the one with all the power to do destructive things like this, to bring about balance and cleansing. I also want you to take notice, if there's chariots up here, you're not seeing any beams of light coming down, because the Most High and his angels, they can be right down here. I mean, the chariots can be up there, maybe supplying energy or something, but they don't have to be up there. The Most High and his chariots, they can be in here, they can be underground, they can be anywhere. They're not confined to the density of this third dimension. They're interdimensional, and they can, carry out weapons and bring weapons from other dimensions in here. What you're seeing here is technology that we just don't understand, but it is available and it does exist. So here's another person's take on the story.
A Vimana has been discovered in a cave in Afghanistan. It has attracted the attention of world leaders including U.S. President Obama. A group of soldiers made the discovery on a scout mission in the desert of Afghanistan. 8 U.S. troops are missing after making the discovery. FYI, a Vimana is an ancient flying machine described in ancient Indian Sanskrit epics. The Vimana found in Afghanistan is reported to be an estimated 5,000 years old. It is said to be protected by a strange energy barrier that is preventing troops from extracting the Vimana. What caused the sudden rush of these most powerful leaders of the Western world to go to Afghanistan, this report continues, was to directly view the discovery by U.S. military scientists of what is described as a Vimana entrapped in a time well that has already caused the disappearance of at least 8 American soldiers. Trying to remove it from the cave it has been hidden in for the past estimated 5,000 years. Also, George Neri mentioned this subject on Coast to Coast AM. Check the link below this video. From the ancient accounts found in the Sanskrit epic the Mahabharata, we know that a Vimana measured 12 cubits in circumference, with 4 strong wheels. Apart from its blazing missiles, the Mahabharata records the use of its other deadly weapons that operated via a circular reflector. When switched on, it produced a shaft of light which, when focused on any target, immediately consumed it with its power. Most intriguing of all about this report is its stating that not just any Vimana has been discovered, but from the ancient writings contained in the cave where it was discovered.
Now we'll take a look at this right here. They're saying that this has to do with India, and I'm not going to confirm or deny that. But if you look at this depiction right here, this guy's got a beard. He's got a look like a little afro coming down here. Could be Indian. It could be our people. Could be an ancient Israelite. We just can't listen to these people because you know what's going to happen is they're going to try to make a cover story for whatever happened. That's what Esau usually does, and I wouldn't put it by him right here to get this cover story out so that people don't think that this technology came from the Most High. Well, it probably came from the Most High anyway, you know, just because they're saying Indian folks doesn't mean it still didn't come from the Most High, because he's the inspiration for all the technology anyway.
It claims that its rightful owner is the ancient prophet Zoroaster, who was the founder of arguably one of the most important...
Look at this dude. Looks like an Israelite dude. But now all of a sudden he's an ancient prophet from India. You guys let me know if you know anything about this. I'm going to show you some other descriptions and engravings that look like Israel too.
Religions of all time called Zoroastrianism.
Because I don't think there was a huge flying machine this big in that little cave. I think there was some type of technology linked to some type of flying machine that they were trying to get out of there, and maybe they wanted to weaponize it, but I don't think there was a huge flying machine in that little cave. That doesn't make any sense to me. So this might all just be some cover story BS. And here we go. Doesn't that